What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/TalesOfNeckbeards. This story's called Neckbeard Has a Thing for Everything German. Hey, so this is my first ever post on Reddit, so I am sorry if it's not the best, and I'm sorry if it's not the right subreddit for this. Some background. I am a 17-year-old girl and a junior in high school. I am from Germany and moved to the US when I entered middle school, so I had a pretty thick accent when this was going on. Last year, I do not have as thick of an accent anymore because of almost a year straight of intense speech therapy to get rid of it. Personal choice. It was quite obvious that I was German, and I did not hide the facts. Most people flocked to me because of my accent, and I really appreciated anyone who tried to learn about my culture back home. Except this one guy. He rode and still rides my bus, and for a long time, I did not really acknowledge his existence because I always kept my headphones in. He's kinda chubby and has very patchy facial hair. I have looked over a few times to see what he listens to music-wise, and every time it has always been an anime original soundtrack. One day, I forgot my headphones at home, so I took the commute to school just staring out the window and listening into the conversations around me, when I heard someone mention Germany. Of course, I got excited and looked around to figure out who was talking, and it was him. For simplicity's sake, I'm gonna call him Derek. He was a loner and only liked to argue. I'm not sure if he has friends, and I'm not sure if he goes out of his way to get any. Now, I have heard Derek talk on a few occasions, so it came as a shock when he was talking in this very posh and obviously fake British accent. That is not how he sounded any other time I overheard him around school. He was debating with some other kid about German pronunciation, and this made me excited to see how bad they will butcher my language. The word they were debating was Deutschland, aka Germany. It's pronounced like Deutschland, but Derek insisted it was pronounced like doucheland. I can understand if one thought, oh, it's satire, he's making fun of the language. Oh no, he was being dead serious. So I decided to pipe up and say it the correct way. I felt like I was the best person to do so. Actually, it's pronounced Deutschland.
No, it is not. I've been studying German. This is the way it is pronounced.
Well, I can promise you it is not. He cut me off before I could continue.
Yeah? And where did you hear that? I have watched many history documentaries and I know I'm correct.
Listen, like I said, I had a very heavy accent. It was more than obvious I am German. Well, I am German. I lived in Stuttgart. This is the way I was taught when learning German, my mother tongue. He looked at me dead in the eyes and said,
well, you were taught wrong.
Another time, the bus was filled and I could not find a place to sit, so I had to sit next to him, and oh my god, that was a terrible experience. He had such bad body odor, and every time he lifted his arms to adjust his headphones, I would almost puke. He took his headphones off and introduced himself to me. I do not know if he remembered our last conversation or not. He asked my interests and paid half attention and started telling me about his interests. I have an hour commute home on the bus. I would say his is about 45 minutes. So for 30 minutes, he talked about his interests, hentai and furries. Who does that to a person you just met? For the rest of the year, I had to listen to him talk about the history of Germany to anyone who would listen. Most of it was either wrong or not quite right. All of it centered around World War II. Plus, he went on and on about this anime called Italia because it is about history or countries or something. It took everything in me to just bite my tongue and turn up my music louder. The last big interaction was at the end of the year last year. The bus was full and someone took my seat again, so I had to squeeze in wherever, and just my luck, the only seat available was next to him. So I put my headphones in and tried to survive the ride. This man had the audacity to grab my earphone and pull it out of my ear. What the fornication under consent of the king. I shook it off because I do not like confrontation, and our conversation went like this.
So, you are German, right?
Yes, I am.
What is it like in Germany?
Oh, I was so happy it was a normal question. I got quite excited to answer it, but before I could, he continued.
What are the girls like in Germany?
They're like any other girls.
I always wanted a German girlfriend. God, they're so sexy, with their big boobs and long, pullable blonde hair. Plus, I've seen German X-rated movies. They're into some kinky crap. I could only gape at this.
I truly did not know what to say, so I started with something simple. Well, we're not all blondes. I'm not a blonde. I have dark brown, almost black hair. It is short as well.
Well, that is because you are probably a mixed breed, not a pure-blood German.
Did this dude really call me a mixed breed like I'm a frickin' dog? Even with the look of disgust on my face, he continued to talk.
You have the tits, though. Do not like the short hair. You look darkish, but if you could grow it out and dye it blonde, you would be the perfect German girlfriend.
I continue to stare at him. I beg your pardon?
Do you like Italia? There's this female version of Germany, and if you dress like her and role-played and not safe for work roleplay, I think this could work.
By this time, we have passed a few stops, so some seats are empty. I grab all of my stuff and sit in the farthest seat away from him, reeling over what just happened. To this day, he still tries to talk to me about all the stuff he wants to do in
our roleplay,
and I just try to avoid him as much as possible. I wish I was not German. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, as I was reading the beginning of the story, I was like, wow, this sounds kind of familiar. Because when I was in high school and I would ride the bus, there was this German girl. She was from Germany and she had a thick German accent. And I would sit alone a lot of the time because I really like to sleep on the bus. I don't know, it's just nice. And my facial hair used to be really patchy and I wouldn't say I was super chubby, but I guess a little bit maybe. And so I got kind of nervous for a second because I was like, oh no, is it about me? I thought I was cool. But it turns out that's not the case because in my case, I was not a social weirdo that faked accents and talked about hentai and roleplay and stuff like that with people I just met. But no, she was cute and she was pretty cool too. I got her Snapchat and we talked a little bit and flirted a little bit back and forth, but never really went anywhere. But gosh, I got scared for a second. This story is called Stop Dreaming of My Girlfriend and I. Hello everyone, OP here to present you a story. Now, my girlfriend and I have been discussing whether or not to post this. We decided to do so. Now, to set the record straight, my girlfriend and I are not. No, my girlfriend and I are tomboys. Apologies for any mistakes in the story. We've been dating for over 2 years now and are still happily together. This story sets back to when we were 16, 15 years old and our wonderful neckbeard was 17. Let's dive in. My girlfriend and I were two gamers that loved Minecraft. Heaven forbid we don't dive into other games. Kevin, our neckbeard, knew just about any game you can think of. Crap, he plays 24/7 when he isn't at school. He never showers, has long, greasy hair, a lovely trench coat, and any hat, surprisingly. Kevin is a friend of a friend. We aren't really close to him. He hangs out when our friend Amy is around. Amy is my girlfriend's best friend at the time. We hung out at the mall one day and it was very nice. Kevin kept on commenting on how he was the only single one in the group. We all told him, "You'll find someone someday." Amy left with her boyfriend and he's now with me and my girlfriend.
Aren't you ladies just so cute? How long have you been dating?
We've been dating for a year now.
Ever thought about adding a guy?
This was really awkward, especially for my girlfriend. We are both lesbian and never want to be open with our relationship. No, Livy and I are happy, just us two. Plus, we are lesbian. We don't see us dating guys at any point. I would like to point out, here's where the typical, "not all guys are bad," comes into play. The most annoying and arrogant thing to say to anyone.
Not all guys are bad. I would treat you, girls, right. I would love you and spoil you, my ladies.
I cringed so hard and tried to keep my temper. My girlfriend is wrapped around me tight, shaking like a leaf. I decided we needed to go and get away from this creep. No thank you, Kevin. We aren't interested, so please have some respect for our decision. He was red in the face and left. Amy texted us and asked us what happened. I explained the situation. Amy explained that Kevin said that we were disrespectful by calling him names and such. I was livid that he would say such a thing, but shouldn't come to surprise at all. After all, he is a neckbeard. Now, where does the drama come in? We are getting to that. A week later, my girlfriend and I were chilling at her house. Neckbeard decided to message us.
My offer still stands. After that altercation, you ladies need a daddy in your life. I would be the best fit to play that role. You will bow down to me.
This does get gross, so I apologize.
You'll both be pregnant with my children and learn to respect men.
How dare you message us that sickening message? I will not bow down to you or anyone else. I don't need a man in my life, or you for that matter. I am happy with my girlfriend and I will make sure to report this to the police and the school. I don't want you messaging us again. So we blocked him off of everything. He did get reported to the school and wasn't allowed to be near us. It could have been worse as we were still going to be his friend. I'm glad we didn't. We never heard of him again and we never saw him in school. To say the least, I hope he grows from this. One can only hope. There can't be people that gross. I mean, I would get it if he thought about that, but him saying that to... What? How do you grow up in an environment surrounded by people and still end up like that? How do you go to high school and how do you... Oh man. This story's called Neckbeard Obsessed with Minor DC Cosplayer. I am trans, female to male, but this happened when I was 14 and not fully sure to show my true gender. I also still cosplay as both genders. Here's the cast. Me,
Friend, Neckbeard.
At the time, I had just moved to a town on the American West Coast. I was elated and just starting high school, and the town I live in is big on conventions, parties, etc. I'm a big fan of most fandoms, so at a young age, I got into cosplaying and into conventions. So in my first month of moving, for my early 15th birthday, my mom got me tickets to a convention in Las Vegas in driving distance. I was so elated that I decided to redo and freshen up a cosplay I did a few months before. I decided to do Bumblebee, one of my absolute favorite Doom Patrol characters in comics. I finished 2 days before the convention, so I also bought some fake wings and some roller skates to see more flying. Now, I'm a bit overdeveloped for my age. I'm taller, a bit more chesty, which recently I've started binding, and I'm curvier, so I can easily pass for around 18 to 19. When the convention started, the guard at the front actually had to double check my ID to make sure I didn't get a kid pass for the discounts. First day of the convention, I'm super happy and I'm with my mom, who is just as excited as I am. We are there for hours, buying crap, watching competitions, at signing panels, and we never once stopped for the bathroom. My mom had to go after a while, but she permitted me to stay in line for a keychain I wanted because of how long the lines were. I agreed and quietly hummed as the line continued. About 4 minutes later, a couple had gotten tired of the long line and just walked off. I didn't think much of the two moving, until my nose was assaulted with a smell, like Doritos that had been boiled down in Axe deodorants in Mountain Dew, left under a porch for 3 months, and then a dog ate it and threw it up. It was nasty, and it overpowered the honey perfume I used that day. It was awkward for 2 minutes. The guy was way too close, and I was trying not to cry from the scent. That is, until I felt 2 hands on my hips. Luckily enough, it was my turn. I quickly bought the keychain and jogged off to an area near the front of the bathrooms to wait. I had taken a few pictures with people, as often cosplayers did that, and I forgot about the guy. My mom came out of the bathrooms and we went to the minor competition I was going to participate in. When we arrived, my mom went to go sit in the audience, and I went off to hang out with a few kids. We had an area for people to take pictures and or to interact with us for more exposure. And in a few minutes, guess what I smelled? The guy, who I had smelled before, walked up, and honestly, he looked like the basic neckbeard. He was tall, 6 foot to 6'4", wearing an Ahegao hoodie with Cheeto dust and soda stains, a black trench coat covered in questionable white stains, some too tight red spandex pants which didn't cover his peeking overhang, a bad comb over, and the all-famous neckbeard. He stomped over and demanded pictures from every kid after skipping 10 or so people. But when he came over to me, he tried to kiss me for a picture and place his hand under my skirt and on my ass. I freaked out and pushed him away, exclaiming that I was under 15. Instead of being a normal adult who would apologize or back away, he grabbed me by the arm and whispered a bit too close to my neck,
"Perfect time to start training you to be my wife."
I screamed without seeing that a friend of mine, Mia, had already ran off to go get security. Some 16-year-old boys started to wrestle the guy away from me, and a minute or so later, some security and my mom ran in. The guy started to scream, saying stuff like,
"Don't separate me from my lowly wife,"
or,
"She's my soulmate."
apparently, he had been following me after I left, but didn't talk to me until I separated from my mom. He was arrested for assault on a minor, banned from the convention, and I was given a free pass to the convention for all 3 days. I got second place for the competition. I also found out that the guy's sentence of 4 years with probation was tripled, because on probation, he went to a convention and assaulted another underage cosplayer. Guys, cosplay isn't consent. Oh my goodness, how do you get to that level of perversion? Does this guy not leave his bath of Doritos and Mountain Dew and genetic material? All jokes aside, that's actually really horrible. Why do people it's just a kid. I heard that conventions have a really bad problem with this sort of stuff, and that's horrible because people go to conventions to have a good time and celebrate what they love, be it anime, video games, or vaping. People like that just ruin it for everybody, because not only do people have to actively worry about that, but you traumatize people that are just trying to enjoy themselves, and you basically steal their joy from something that was once an amazing time and something people look forward to for a year. Anyways, I hope that he was able to get past that and still is able to enjoy conventions without people like that ruining the experience for him. This story is called Stop Fetishizing Me Because of My Skin. I've had a lot of issues with Neckbeard sending me very disturbing messages, so much so that I no longer post photos of myself online. Some comments are just cringe, while others are deeply disturbing. Most of the comments I get are about my skin color. I'm extremely pale, and I have issues with photosensitivity dermatitis, so I can't stay in the sun too long to get a tan. I'm not kidding when I say my skin is white. I have to use white eyeliner as under-eye concealer, and I use sunscreen as foundation because I've given up on finding real foundation. I also have naturally gray hair, despite being in my 20s. My doctors think there may be some type of mild albinism at play, but I've never bothered to pursue that. Anyways, I'll be sharing some of my favorite skin-related comments.
Is all your skin that white? I'd like to double check. You could be my real-life anime girl. Your skin is so fair and soft, I just want to touch it.
You have pale skin in like goth fashion?
Dress modestly to protect your skin. Save the sexy stuff for me.
Warning, the next comments are very explicit.
I want your skin so bad. I want to lock you in a cage and keep you forever, my little bird.
I wish I could keep a piece of that velvety skin with me, like in my bag, so I can touch it when I'm stressed. Hey, why don't you use my genetic material as makeup? I want to make your skin a fleshlight. Listen, people have kinks and fetishes. I get it. You have a thing for certain skin colors? Cool. What's not cool is sending me things like this and losing your crap when I ask you to refrain from contacting me. Okay, that's it. That's it. I get it now. Men are trash. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.